Thomas Edison, a leader of American innovation, was responsible for developing many modern devices. He created the first organized industrial research laboratory where he and his team of scientists and inventors brought to life home electricity, the light bulb, car batteries, movies, music players, and thousands of other innovations. Thomas Alva Edison was born on February 11, 1847 in the town of Milan, Ohio. His parents, Sam and Nancy Edison, were of Canadian origin and had 6 children prior to Thomas, only 3 of whom survived. Edison's family moved to Port Huron, Michigan in 1854. Throughout his childhood, Thomas Edison was full of curiosity about how things worked and always asked a lot of questions. He didn't do very well in traditional school setting and often got punished for annoying the teacher with too many questions. As a result, after an age of 12, he was homeschooled by his mother. His interest in science was sparked when his mother bought him his first scientific book. He soon set up his own laboratory in his bedroom and began performing original experiments. After a few disasters, he was asked by his parents to move the laboratory into the basement. The explosions from the basement constantly shook the house, often upsetting his father. To fund his experiments, Edison took a job as a newsboy on a new Grand Trunk Railway service that recently began operating between Port Huron and Detroit, Michigan, selling candy and refreshments. He made good use of his time in Detroit by reading at the public library. He set up a laboratory in the baggage car of the train where he performed experiments during his free time. An accidental fire on the train caused by one of his experiments led to his firing. In 1876, Edison decided to move away from the city and into a larger space where he could expand his operations to include a large-scale invention workshop. Edison's father built a main laboratory building in Menlo Park, New Jersey. Edison also built other ancillary buildings, including a glass house, a carpenter shop, a carbon shed, and a blacksmith shop. By the spring of 1876, Edison moved his operations to Menlo Park, New Jersey. Edison's Menlo Park laboratory was the world's first such research and development facility. During the same time, Alexander Graham Bell invented the first version of the telephone, which created waves throughout the scientific and engineering communities. Western Union commissioned Edison to improve upon the primitive telephone to put it into practical use. While Edison was working on perfecting the telephone, he started experimenting with the idea of being able to record the sound of the human voice. In November 1877, one of Edison's first major inventions at Menlo Park was the phonograph, which was a basic machine that allowed a person to speak into a diaphragm that was attached to a pen that made indentations in a piece of paper wrapped around a wooden cylinder. The first words Edison successfully recorded on the phonograph was, "Mary had a little lamb." Edison invented many more devices which soon made him rich and famous. People flocked to Menlo Park to see his inventions firsthand. The first floor of the laboratory constantly entertained businessmen and investors who had come to invest in Edison's projects. Thomas Edison created some of the world's most important and some of his greatest inventions at Menlo Park. While headquartered there, he applied for about 400 patents on inventions big and small. Soon, Menlo Park became too small for his operation. Edison started building a new facility in West Orange, New Jersey in 1887. Soon after, his laboratory moved out of Menlo Park and into the new, much larger laboratory in West Orange. The laboratory complex comprises the industrial facility built by Edison in 1887 to research and develop his inventions. The complex includes more than a dozen buildings that supported Edison's research into electricity, photography, motion pictures, chemistry, metallurgy, and other disciplines. A private library was attached to the main laboratory building. Specialty heavy and precision machine shops made tooling and prototypes. This is where Edison spent the remaining 44 years of his life, continuing to improve his earlier inventions and creating new inventions such as the motion picture camera. In 1884, Edison's first wife, Mary Stillwell Edison, dies young. He has 3 children and a big project underway in New York to demonstrate his electric power station and distribution system for lighting, not to mention a broken heart. Through an arranged matchmaking operation, one of Edison's good friends introduced Mina to Thomas in 1885, and in 1886 they marry. He was 39, she was 19. His oldest daughter by his first marriage was 13 at the time. Looking for a home near his new West Orange laboratories, Edison buys Glenmont at a distress sale, completely furnished with a barn and livestock, a greenhouse, and all the grounds for $125,000. Mina had a choice of this estate or a townhouse in New York, and she wisely selected Glenmont. In the 1890s, Thomas would sell the entire estate to Mina for $1. So no one could ever lay claim to his family's home as a result of a legal suit against his inventions and manufacturing facilities. Thomas Edison's home, Glenmont, was built as an Americanized version of the Queen Anne Victorian style in 1880 to 1882. It contains all the rudiments of today's modern home: hot and cold running water, indoor bathrooms with flushing toilets, central heating, and refrigeration. Edison later wired the home for electricity in 1887. Glenmont is an imposing structure whose extreme dimensions measure approximately 125 feet long, 116 feet wide, and 54 feet high. It originally contained 23 rooms, including 2.5 bathrooms. A magnificent semicircular conservatory graces the south side of the home. The construction of Glenmont includes over 157,000 bricks and in excess of 10,000 pounds of iron and steel framing. There are 23 fireplaces exiting through 7 chimneys. A total of 94 exterior windows grace the building, 41 of them adorned with canvas awnings. Over the years, the Edisons added 6 more bathrooms, mostly on the second floor, for a total room count of 29.5. Thomas Edison died on October 18, 1931, at the age of 84, due to complications from diabetes in his home in Glenmont in West Orange, New Jersey, and is buried there alongside his wife, Mina. He was 84 years old. Many communities and corporations throughout the world dimmed their lights or briefly turned off their electric power to commemorate his passing.